Hey, what's up, Canada and beyond? Welcome back. It is Thursday, September 12th. Yeah, that means tomorrow is Friday the 13th. So I kind of decided to go with a little bit of an ongoing theme in tonight's story, ongoing saga of swamp life in Canada. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a ton of stuff to cover through here tonight, and I found an especially rich gem. So it's about 25 minutes long, something like that. So I'm going to hold that one back till the tail end of the show, and we're going to watch that together. And it's really going to give you guys, I guess, a behind the scenes peek into who some of the top 10 richest families are in the Laurentian elite. Who are the richest swamp creatures of them all? So we're gonna introduce you guys to a whole bunch of those at the tail end of the show tonight. I have to call it a fluff piece, but it's interesting when you guys will be able to compare notes to some of the people who have been storyline headlines on this show over the last number of years. So, welcome back, guys. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're not following me, you should be. If you're not sharing this platform, you should be. And that's where I'm going to start with just a couple of minutes of regular scheduled maintenance, guys. If you've been here a little while, you know that every morning, the day after, I publish a Substack, and within this Substack is all of the links, all of the whatever we cover in the show the night before by the same name is provided there for everybody to go and chew on, dig into, use whatever however it might help you. The resources, I give that to everybody there. I try to find the most relevant current news, not nonsense, and give people, at least a kind of a filtered access into what I think is important, and what I hear from you guys is important. So this communication back and forth is always awesome. It helps me keep finding more of the things that you guys need and want to know. There's a lot of people covering a lot of different stuff. I tend to not do that if somebody else is doing that. So here we are covering, a little bit more focused on some of these swamp creatures lately because they're so busy. They're so busy. And Substack is the best place to plug in. All of the content here is free, always. There's no paywall. There's no magic wall that's going to get you extras. There's some stuff that we do with our partners that is, extracurricular opportunities off of the platform. There's never any advertising on this platform. We don't advertise. We don't sell anything. We have partners that we have plugged in to provide solutions to some of the most common questions that we used to get, or that I get all the time. And so that was, self-sustainability. So if you go to my website, if you can't remember where to find me on Substack, everything is on my website. That should be pretty easy to remember, whatsupcanada.org. You can plug into Substack right here. If you want to support this platform, you can do that there for about 50 cents a day, $8 a month. That keeps the caffeine flowing, keeps me going through all of this. But then I want to talk about something that we're going to be kind of loosely putting together 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon. We're going to be talking with some of our partners that are over at Patriot Switch. There's some new stuff going on there. And this is where the rubber meets the road, guys. We talk about change, fighting the cabal. How do we do that? And then we go to the same box stores and give the cabal our money, and get poisoned along the way. So we've got an American partner who the cabal absolutely despises, that provides us with more than I can even begin to cover in a show. So I'm only spending an extra couple of minutes on this here tonight because this is Sunday. This opportunity is coming up. Plug into one of the platforms. Make sure you get an email or something to me so I can get a link to you. And for the next couple of days, you can get a year's membership for $1. So we are a community that puts our money where our mouth is, and we live a better life for doing so. And yeah, for a buck, what do you got to lose? Get plugged in. We'll show you some choices that the cabal absolutely hates. So now on to some of the swamp life and its impact on the environment and the sanity of Canadians. This I'm starting this off with just a meme to kind of put things into perspective, a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor. If you're new here, you'll realize that I do have a pragmatic sense of humor often, and I poke fun at the insanity because what else can we do? And some of it is just, it deserves mockery. It's so stupid. But one of the things that, this is kind of ironic. Oh, you don't need to fight them. You just need to convince the pitchfork people that the torch people want to take away their pitchforks. And that explains the political strategy of the Liberal Party of Canada, right? Pretty much. And so this is a 2-minute clip just to kind of explain. I guess I want to ask you guys if this guy's is a pitchfork, if this is a pitchfork dude or a what was it, the torch, whichever. Yeah, but I agree with Chris's statement. This guy is a walking hate crime. So let's remember who is the master of this ship that is in such trouble, and that's kind of rank.
If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train beside vaccinated people and put them at risk.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for concerns expressed by a few people gathered in Ottawa right now are not new, not surprising, are heard, but are a continuation of what we've unfortunately seen in disinformation and misinformation online, conspiracy theorists about microchips, about God knows what else that go with the tinfoil hats. Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave.
Also, be very clear when people are trying to push politics of fear and indeed intolerance. That's something that Canadians expect of me, and something that
I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns, and
make sure the people who choose not to get vaccinated don't get to get on a plane or a train, don't get to work in the public service, don't get to, by working with the provinces on vaccine certifications and mandates, don't get to go to movie theaters or gyms or restaurants.
Pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on
So yes, even at the risk of knowing that people thought I might be waving at those anti-vaxxers who I was basically ignoring, because I won't respond to anger with anger. Just ignore them.
Does that kind of get everybody on the on the same page as to the right level of disgust and contempt for this walking, talking hate crime? This is an absolute travesty to all things democracy that this man somehow manages to maintain this illusion of control. And when we get more into some of the discussions moving forward here, this story with Vasi Kapelos, who's been doing some random acts of solid journalism, is, just another example, and I'm putting this in here. We'll play a minute of this just so you guys can, get a little bit of view. It's the party line, right? The party line is maintain the lie.
Eventually, Canadians will appreciate us for it.
Well, I would say I would disagree with what you say. I think Canadians are hopeful. I mean, we have, I was at the G7 recently. My colleague would say, we would trade a problem for your issues. We have issues in this country. We're working on them. But if you look at the state of the world, that the big trends, decarbonization, digitalization, we're a magnet for talent in this country. We have attracted record level of investments. We have the critical mineral to power the economy of the 21st century. We have renewable energy that is the envy of the world, and we have access to 1.5 billion consumers around the world. We've been blessed by geography. I would say when you look at the world today with a lot of turbulence and uncertainty, I hope Canadians are hopeful. I am hopeful because when you look at what we have in Canada, I'd say let's seize the moment, let's be ambitious, because in the economy of the 21st century, we have what you need to win. That's certainly what I say, and that's what, but obviously you need to translate that in day-to-day issues of people and fighting for them. They want to see people is in their corner and say, is this person going to fight for me? And my answer to them is, I'm fighting for you every single day, and that's what my colleagues are doing.
Oh my goodness, right? I'm sorry. I cannot help but agree with you, Jennifer Jupiter. To think, my first initial response to this individual is no wonder the rest of the world sees us as clown world, cartoon land, completely delusional. This is the the guy defending the party line, carrying on the lie, talking about why Canadians don't know what they're saying, they don't know what they're thinking. He'll tell you what to think, and everything is just fine moving forward with the Liberal Party. So this guy's defending the election in Montreal. So there's two big elections coming up for the Liberal Party, one in Montreal and one in Winnipeg, and the Liberals are theoretically poised to lose both of those, probably to the NDP in Winnipeg, and it won't be the Conservatives in Montreal, but more likely the Bloc. So yeah, there's some stuff on the line for the Liberal Party, and they're pretty much in synchronicity across the party. And this was some of the stuff we talked about last night on the show. These different members all saying the exact same thing. The best one for me yet this week was Melanie Jolie saying, "Sit down, shut up. I'll tell you what you're thinking and what Canadians want." There's even rumor that she's angling for Trudeau's job. We'll talk a little bit more about why that's wasted effort. Tipping at windmills, don't get sucked into that propaganda stunt. But meanwhile, here in Canada, when I first listened to this and found this story, my first response to this was emotional. And I cannot help, because I know the corruption behind how much money is being stolen from Canadians, sent to Ukraine, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions, and this is what Canadians get.
People in Ontario are drowning in the rising tide of unaffordability. The cost of living has surged, and for too many people, there's simply no life raft in sight. Instead of being thrown a lifeline, more and more people are being pulled under, trapped in the cycle of poverty, and living in circumstances that make it impossible to get their heads above water. People in Ontario are...
The number is profound, guys. Food banks were visited 7,689,580 times between April 1st of 2023 and March 31st of 2024. up 31%. 69% of the food banks in the Ontario network are now concerned about not having enough food, and we're just heading into winter. Guys, this is a crime against the people. There's no other way that we can look at this when Canadians are hungry and Ukrainians are getting more money and are more likely eating better off of the Canadian tax dollar than what Canadians can afford to live by, and they're ending up in food banks. And this is heart crushing, because if there's been, this is something we've talked about in the past, because the people that are in these food banks are having their souls crushed by the government. It's the government that created this mess, and people in the food banks are talking about, what alternatives do they have. They're left with where they're at, standing in the food bank, empty shelves, or made. And this is a government syndicate manufactured crisis, and it's only getting worse. Well, these people, these globalist psycho jockeys keep carrying on. So this is something that I brought back up again, because there's, I've been talking about what happened, and with last night's show, actually, by definition, we're experiencing a coup. Nobody, none of us, not a single Canadian voted for this guy. The connections that drive this guy are beyond any measure of even being, plausible for being ethical, moral. It's just 100% cronyism. This guy is a top dog for Klaus Schwab, being brought in to fix up what the young global brats are messing up, and to make sure some of these critical policies like Bill C-293 and Bill C-63 get passed through there, and this Senate continues getting stacked. So Mark Carney is the fixer for Klaus Schwab, brought in, and the IMF and the banking system. There's some allegations at this point. I have to call them allegations. Somebody sent me a story, and it kind of rings, but there's been more information has come to light that Mark Carney was potentially Justin Trudeau's uncle. This has been so far debunked by Kyle Kemper, Justin Trudeau's brother, half brother. So for what it's worth, believe what you're not, what you like. But at the end of the day, this guy is part of the Kemper clan. So is Trudeau's half brother, Maggie's second husband. More for people to dig into, but this is how I've been describing this appointment of Mark Carney. It's not an appointment. This is a coup of Canada by unelected representatives that are representing interests in faraway lands and countries, and profit directly from these things, because they control the climate cult. And when I said as much, Leighton Gray agreed. This is a coup. Carney is our new PM by all controlling measures. So this is where Canada's at. We have new leadership, and so a little bit more on one of this dankest of swamp creatures, and how he's exerting his influence, and who this guy is. So he's been destroying the Canadian economy for years, and he's also Christopher Freeland's kid's godfather. Tell me that's not syndicate-ish, right? So he just testified to the Senate that he's all on board with Senator Rosa Galvez industry and investment destroying Bill S 243, climate aligned finance. He falsely stated or started the climate emergency in his 2015 Lloyd's of London speech, based on the skewed risky business report of his green billionaire pal Michael Bloomberg and Town Sayer, which uses the implausible RCP about 8.5 scenario of business as usual, blah, 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 blah. So this guy is also in hot water in the UK when it comes to his just like the clip going out there with Pierre Poilievre asking him if he supports the veto on Canadian pipelines, and he said yes, he supports the veto on Canadian pipelines, but he supports major pipeline investment in foreign countries, and this one of the countries that Pierre mentions in that little rant against Carney is Brazil, which really brings to mind, and I haven't had time to go and corroborate this, but if I'm not mistaken, one of the Ontario unions, perhaps the Ontario Teachers Union, invested $8.5 billion or $8.7 billion on a pipeline in Brazil rather than investing in pipelines in Canada. And I need to go back and see if Mark Carney was part and parcel to any of that as well. And also the $450 million worth of money that Trudeau gave to build pipelines in China. Yes, Trudeau did that, right? So one of the other things lighting the fire under people's butts right now is this new immigration distribution strategy dreamt up by Lord Farquaad Sparkle Socks, Justin Trudeau, and the rest of the swamp creatures. Initially, can't forget that this you know, I don't know what even the right word for it is, except invasion. This population invasion of Canada came as a business recommendation from McKinley to the government in 2016. So this is why we've been getting 1 million people a year in Canada by any means possible. So now they have come up with, because people are fed up and being drowned in foreign identity cultures, they've got a new way to force the provinces into this. And yes, this is what they're actually threatening to do, to force this is what we know so far, right? Alberta is supposed to be forced to take more than 27,000. BC will take another 32,000. And Nova Scotia, another 4,952. New Brunswick, another 4,600 asylum seekers. This is these guys' idea of an economic boost. Why? Because they're manifesting the infrastructure of human trafficking. That's what our government represents for an infrastructure of business, is international human trafficking. That is the New World Order, Great Reset model of distribution and all of the digital things. It's all about maintaining the illusion of human trafficking through, white collar crime. That's how it all works. And I should have pulled this up a little bit earlier, a little bit out of sequence here, but Catherine McKenna says the number of Ontarians visiting food bank represents a huge failure of government, despite her having served in Trudeau's government as a cabinet minister for 6 years. Where's the $93 billion, Catherine? Where's all the money, Catherine? She wants to, point fingers about there not being any money. Catherine's got some questions to answer in that regard, unequivocally, in my opinion. So we're going to skip. I'm kind of, I guess, really out of sequence in some of this stuff, but I keep laughing. I keep seeing the alpha memes come up about what's going on in Springfield, and we need to take this seriously, because what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, is real, guys. Don't believe anybody that says it's just propaganda, garbage, and nonsense. I've got some stuff that's going to be really disturbing here, but when you get a 40% population explosion overnight, and what they've been doing there is kind of the same thing they've been doing here, evicting people, natural people that belong there, and providing everything required for the newcomers, right? And now they've escalated to the level of bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio. So if you get into this, following this down there, there's some pretty graphic stories. People from Haiti absolutely acknowledging that it's real, and it's extreme. And that kind of exact mindset is coming here 100%. When you look at what this kind of stuff is going to do to some of these communities that are already basically have no-go zones in Canada because of the diversity abundance. How else can I say it without getting censored? So I'm going to skip over that one for a little while and go to this one here. And meanwhile, in Canada, this is a real story, guys. An Ontario woman got arrested and is going to have a record of assault with a weapon because she got into a water fight with some of the neighborhood kids, and her problem neighbor used that within the letter of the law to set a precedent. And so, yeah, all of this corruption going on. Catherine McKenna pointing fingers after losing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and this local grandma gets a permanent criminal record for something like that from a problem neighbor. Yeah, you only in Canada. Interesting story for the financial side of things that make me go, Warren Buffett's right-hand man and prospective successor, Jane, dumped half of his stake in Berkshire Hathaway. This is significant, guys. I don't know what all this is going to mean, but this is a great opportunity for a little plug to talk about tomorrow's show. Tune in 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern for Bankers, Bandit, Bullions, and Bucks with Bryce. We'll put this to him. But when he starts dumping money of things like Berkshire Hathaway, these are big players in the globalist syndicate. And Warren Buffett is, one of the more entrenched, shall we say, in the financial syndicates. At the end of the day, he ultimately owns basically BlackRock through Berkshire Hathaway. So this is curious why he's dumping Berkshire Hathaway stocks, which owns BlackRock. Things that made me go, So interesting story to carry on with more of the swamp's creatures. Considering that Taylor Swift just gave her endorsement for Kamala, and considering that it was Harvey Weinstein that made her famous, and it's apparently 47 new indictments are laid against this guy, and he should never see the light of day. He was a lightweight compared to Jeffrey Epstein, but it's good to see that he is not, that it's that he's not walking away. That's the important part for me to take note in this story, and I want people to not forget what some of these monsters have been creating and doing. And this is another, you cannot make this stuff up, without, living in, drinking the Avatar Kool-Aid. This is really, this cycle of propaganda and psychological abuse and psyops and MLK ultra programming scaled up to scale in the digital space and used to weaponize everything, blah, 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 without a grip in reality anywhere except plausibility. These guys, now this Sadiq Khan is going to make it a benefit to be a convicted criminal or an illegal immigrant to get housing first before someone born in the UK. That's abided by the law, not hurt others, not lied, paid their bills, and being a credit to society. That's what Sadiq Khan is proposing now, that prisoners should jump the queue for housing. That's what the mayor of London believes. Guys, I feel sorry. Pray for the people in the UK, guys. Honestly, this is where we're at. Trudeau has um, exactly. Um, but this is what we're up against, and we're lost in a bazillion other things while this suffering continues and maintains. And back to Canada, and another, what I believe is, an entity and an establishment and an institution that has outlived its service to humanity. When I look at the corruption that I've discovered over the last 5 years within the union structure, between their collusion between the pharma companies and the governments and the crime syndicates, the evil that unions represent is beyond absurd to me. They, at a time, once upon a time, they had a relevant purpose. What they've devolved into is some of the biggest parasitical organizations and institutions on the planet, and nobody can change my mind on that. And here we've got another case of exactly that happening here in Canada with the PSAC union in Ottawa, where they're flyers, literally putting flyers out to not support the local communities in any way, shape, or form. Why? Because they're being commanded to come to work in the office 3 days a week. Yeah. These are the people that work in the bureaucracy. The 42% increase in bureaucracy that the Trudeau regime manufactured. 42% more bureaus and agencies that they've hired and brought into now 3 days a week is too much for them, and they're arguing against that, and they're demanding a boycott of the local establishments. And then meanwhile, back to a little bit more of that diversity enrichment that Canada is developing a plethora of in some of the most sad places. In Halton, they announced an investigation that has ended with 4 subjects arrested. And here again, before this kind of stuff was every day. These guys, another $3 million worth of stolen cars. The police are telling you to put your keys beside the door or in the mailbox because the home invaders, they're only after your keys. So serve your keys up to the home invaders. These guys got caught with $3 million worth this time around. And how many of these, what are the percentage of these people that are natural Canadians, have any skin in the game, give 2 shits about being caught, busted, stealing cars in Canada? They're probably out on bail the very next day and back to work, right? So this is an interesting direction that I wanted to take a swing on, because I wanted, I posted a meme on a couple of platforms yesterday, and it's really, it hasn't faded away. And I'm going to talk about this because it shows some of the hypocrisy of the woke radical left, the blue hairs, the psychopathic, control freaks, and really exposes their hypocrisy. And this is like the what I'm going to show you in just a minute, but I want to explain this. this person and anybody that speaks to this is immediately attacked as being anti-phobic, this, that, or the other thing, blah, 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 blah. You have to identify 72 psychological mental disorders, or you should go to jail. So studies are showing that there's a link between youth using social media and psychological harm. We're fighting to protect kids online by calling on Congress to pass legislation requiring a Surgeon General warning on social media platforms. This has received an insane amount of abuse, and this is absurd to me. And I wanted to call out some of the hypocrisy of that. So this was my response. And this has been getting, as you can see here, since yesterday, 17,000 views. So this is for people that aren't watching and are listening, a young boy with a word graphic saying, so you're saying that tobacco products on race cars will make me want to smoke. So they did whatever. I'm not saying good, bad, or the otherwise on that, but the justification for that, getting rid of it, ending advertising for, and crushing the advertising for anything that they disapprove of, terminal to industry. But at the end of the day, the next question is, but gay and drag queen storybooks won't influence my life choices? So we're supposed to deny the influence of these things like games and social media platforms and smoking and drugs and child monsters. The worst monsters wear two legs. The worst monsters in the world all have two legs. Right. So that's my question of hypocrisy for everybody that ever lobbied against the tobacco industry or, any of these other freedom ending for your safety things needs to have a they need to get the cold fish smack with this one, right? So they can't have double standards, right? So this is going back to part of the response, and I'm not sure if I've got Daniel's response. So there's a couple of the provincial leaders. This is going back to the forced settlement of unwanted invaders in amongst or captives or slaves, whatever you want to identify them as. They are unwanted, they are unwelcomed, they are a part of the human trafficking financial syndicate that is been rebranded as government in Canada, and I'll pretty much argue anybody with that point. But there's some provincial leaders that are having an issue with this, and this post here is the Conservative Party of Canada. John Rustad condemns Trudeau's government for forcing BC to take in 22,000 asylum seekers without support amid housing crisis, while Danielle Smith has done the same. And Danielle Smith is in an extraordinarily precarious situation because she's got a leadership review coming up, and there's a whole lot of influence towards with fixing with the unions and the corruption, and knowing that Alberta's primarily biggest employer is the government. There's a lot to worry about for Danielle Smith, and she's got some questions to answer, and there are some people that are very astutely bringing up the fact that it's time for Alberta to be aware of some of this, and she's taken a stance against the migration as well. BC party has, like them or not. Otherwise, here's another one, a minute and 9 seconds, and so this is a post, and I could have brought the original post, but Natasha brings up an incredible point here that people should recognize that. To all the rural Canadians who think that mass invasion won't impact you, it will.
Provincial officials were invited to the conference call in which it was shared by the federal officials in Ottawa that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau government is considering a plan to send 4,600 asylum seekers to New Brunswick without providing any financial assistance or any opportunity for us to have the ability to build the resources and the capability to manage. Keep in mind that we currently have just under 400 asylum seekers in the province. This is an increase of more than 10 times our current level of asylum seekers. As leaders in your community who already see how our system is grappling with our existing population explosion, just think about this for a moment. Do you think Moncton could handle potentially thousands more people without the support or the housing to back that up? Now, let's be clear. New Brunswick has always been a welcoming province, and we will continue to be so. We have a long history of embracing diversity and helping those in need. And our Rivergate population are making our province what it is today, bigger and greater than it's ever been. But this sudden and unilateral proposal by Ottawa is deeply concerning, and I feel obligated to share the challenges it will bring to our province.
It's human dumping. It's literally human dumping by the tens of thousands of people. So yeah, Norman, Trudeau's got a big problem, and why? Where does this come from? Where are these people all magically coming in from? Right. So where was that here? I gotta find the. Where that was way too far back. Where did it bring up how many people? There he is. So 27,000 loose math here. We got 59, 64, 65, 70,000. Where are all these people coming from? Are they all landing on the same boat? Are they all here showing up at the same time? No, I don't think so. And so could this be some of the extortion and the leverage that the Bloc Québécois is exerting? So with this, Mark Miller said that he will use what levers he has to get uncooperative provinces to take these people, but overrunning all of these provinces. But they're coming from Quebec and Ontario. So now this is not just human dumping in Canada, but it's literally Ontario and Quebec dumping their human excess into the other provinces and take them or else. This is literally what Mark Miller and Justin Trudeau are stuffing down Canadians' throat, and Mark Carney has been here to make sure it gets done, right? That's the young global brats are making a mess in the playpen, and Carney's here to clean up the mess, and the unions and everybody's going to help hold them in line. And so yeah, this is a post from Andy Lee. What in this sweet hell is happening in communist occupied China or Canada? Oops, Freudian slip, right? Sorry, genuine, authentic one. Wasn't even kidding, right? The government acts like forcing hundreds of thousands of federal public service workers back into offices will be all gumdrops and roses. 3 days a week is such slavery. Let's show them how backwards their in-office mandate actually is. Comment your pictures of this mess for Anita Anand to see for herself. Anybody else get to survive or get paid for sitting at home without going to work at all? So here's part of that union stroke. Unions they've been so corrupted. I'm going to play this clip from Harrison Faulkner. I like Harrison. But Lululemon threatened the Trudeau government over leaving the country if they weren't going to be allowed to hire temporary foreign workers instead of Canadians. What do you think of the government did? This is an important story, and this is kind of setting up what we're going to kind of end things off with a giant display of why this story is important.
Lululemon threatening the federal government that it might stop its Vancouver expansion if the government doesn't give the company an exemption to quickly hire more temporary foreign workers. Lululemon, the famous yoga pants manufacturer, demanded to be given a carve-out so they could specifically hire foreigners instead of Canadians at their headquarters. And if they weren't going to be given the opportunity to more easily hire foreigners over Canadians, then they were going to go to the United States. Wow, how patriotic and Canadian of this company. So not only has this famous Canadian company outsourced its production to China, Vietnam, and Cambodia, they now want to outsource their corporate jobs as well. They want to outsource that to what they call high-skilled foreigners, without even trying, it appears, to go through the process of hiring Canadians first. They wanted the exemption before expanding their headquarters. The federal government, of course, eventually caved to Lululemon, allowing them to hire over 116 high-wage temporary foreign workers, making them one of Vancouver's largest temporary foreign worker employers. Now, the BC Minister of Municipal Affairs describes Lululemon's hiring of temporary foreign workers as, quote, diversifying its workforce. The provincial government also agreed with Lululemon. In 2016, Lululemon sent a report to the House of Commons saying that Canada currently does not produce enough skilled, specialized, experienced workers in our required areas to meet our demand. But in May of last year, the company just decided to directly lobby Francois-Philippe Champagne, the Minister of Innovation. Is it any surprise that the Liberal government caved to...
Remember that guy, that cartoon voice guy that we heard from there a little bit earlier? That guy, remember him? Yep. He's the one blowing the liberal Kool-Aid, all sunshine and lollipops in Montreal needs to. And Canada doesn't know what they're saying. They just need to vote liberal.
Campaign, the Minister of Innovation. Is it any surprise that the Liberal government caved to Lululemon? That they folded for the interests of Canadians and decided to give in to the requests of this large company? After all, a large chunk of Justin Trudeau's base happens to be wealthy women lounging around in overpriced yoga pants all day. So not giving in to the demands of their favorite company could have been a real political disaster, despite the fact that Canadian interests seem less important.
Hashtag Banana Canada. Anybody? Literally. But it's important, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. We're getting down to the wire on that one. And just a reminder, I'm going to play this one here. It's a 46-second clip that's, I think, is making around, was just in Peterborough, or is in Peterborough right now. They knew, and they did it anyway. These are victims.
These are all people that have all of them. All died from the jab.
And that's Tom Marazzo. He's been a guest on our show here. Powerful moment for him. And a report released, this according to Norm Spector, a report released Thursday by Toronto Dominion Bank lays out the stakes. Living standards as measured by real GDP per capita were lower in 2023 than in 2014, which means we're living more poorly in 2023 than we were in 2014. That's not progress. The bank doesn't state the obvious political conclusion, but here it is. Canadian living standards have fallen under the 9 years of Liberal rule. Indictments of economic policies don't get much sharper than that. So, Mr. Squeaky Pants, Liberal, no. And this is a big part of the problem. This, before we get into the last couple of clips, good to see this in the National Post. From Terry Newman, in Gaza, terrorists need tunnels. In Canada, they simply apply for visas. Our student visa program has always been one of the weakest links in Canada's national security. And can anybody tell me for a very split second that they have any confidence in saying or thinking or even uttering the words that it might have gotten better by any standards? Can anybody, even say something like that, with a straight face? It's This article goes on to say, talking specifically, this is about the guy that just got busted for planning a bunch of bombings, I guess, in Jewish places in the States, but has just been extradited. And it's been, if Canada had been successful, only 17 months would have passed from the moment he received his student visa to the time he entered, planned, and carried out the attack. He fantasized would be the largest attack on U.S. soil since 9/11. This is what these guys are planning, that are coming into Canada, and I've been screaming at Americans, guys, you better be paying attention. I'm trying to have your six up here is what I'm telling you. This is just another example of that. This is what they want. This is what they've been coming to Canada and getting fat for. And these student visas is one of the primary ways that they have been able to do this. And right now, there are thousands of them going south across out of Canada's border into the U.S., regardless of what their mainstream media in the United States is trying to lie to you about. I think the greatest threat of foreign hostile invaders is right now currently coming from the mechanism of Canada, right? So this is not, of course, the very first time Canada's student visa program has revealed its shortcomings. In 2013, two men, I can't even begin to say their names, they're not Canadians, were planning to carry out a terrorist attack on a rail passenger train. Thankfully, their attempt was foiled, caught, convicted, and sentenced. But this goes on, and with the situation as it's growing here in Canada, as we just expressed, another 70, 80, 90,000 of them being dumped in our communities. And we're not allowed to talk about it. This is a post from Zuby, and I think that this kind of really speaks to the only way to understand all of this, guys, is this is meant to demoralize you. Not my show. My show is meant to shine the light on it, tell you not to be afraid of it. It's time to do something about it. You can't fix what you can't see. So that's what this program is all about, what I try to do every single week. It's not probably as horrible as you think in each particular situation. All we have to do is get together and fix it, not putting anything, belittling any problem. But this is ultimately what they want. They want you to be godless, sexless, genderless, childless, depressed, anxious, afraid, fat, drug addicted, lonely, physically weak, mentally weak, in debt, isolated, living in a pod, eating bugs, and dependent on the state for everything. That is what Mark Carney represents, right? I have had some more on Springfield, Ohio, but I'm going to skip that. We're going to run probably 15, 20 minutes late on this. But, after just showing you, what they want us to be, I think most of us see that, or some capacity of that, in the suffering in all of our countries. But we really don't still yet have a grip on is who the they are. Who are the they that Zuby refers to? Well, that's what the next 25 minutes is going to be about, guys. I'm going to introduce you to some of the they. And one of the other things you'll hear me say from time to time on this platform is Canada has been cottage country for the most diabolical and evil of the world's cabal and elite. Canada's our cottage country. When we talk about who the swamp creatures are, who the cabal are, who are the people behind it all, who are the they? Well, you're going to get to meet them.
the first thing that comes to mind is probably Justin Bieber, Drake, or even the cold winter. We usually forget that Canada is rich and is home to most of the billionaire families in the world. In this video, we are going to be seeing these billionaire families. Let us begin with the Lutke family. When people hear the name Lutke, they often think of Shopify, the tech startup that's become a major player in the e-commerce world. This connection comes from Tobias Lutke.
Did you catch that part that he said there most of the world's elite have property or Canadian citizenship? Important point.
The CEO of Shopify, whose journey from Germany to Canada in 2002 set the stage for his influence in the tech industry. Before he became known for Shopify, Tobias contributed to the open source community, creating tools like Active Merchant and even being part of the core team behind Ruby on Rails. These early experiences helped shape his approach to technology and business. In fact, Tobias has said that reading John Carmack's plan files from the mid-1990s was a big inspiration for him as a young programmer, teaching him the fundamentals of systems design. In 2004, Tobias teamed up with Daniel Wynand and Scott Lake to launch an online snowboard shop called Snow Devil. Instead of using an off-the-shelf e-commerce solution, Tobias built a new platform from scratch using Ruby on
Trudeau
Rails.
probably loved them.
Long before the trio realized that their e-commerce platform had more potential than selling snowboards, leading them to shift their focus entirely. By 2006, Shopify was born. Today, Tobias Lutke owns about 7% of Shopify, a company that has become a cornerstone of online retail for businesses worldwide. In addition to his work with Shopify,
I've used them.
On September 8th, 2021, Tobias made headlines by investing $3 million in Creative Layer, a company specializing in customizable print-on-demand services for Shopify users. This investment was made alongside other key figures from Shopify and Celtic House Venture Partners. As of now, the Lutke family's net worth is estimated to be over $3.1 billion, a testament to the success Tobias has achieved through his innovative contributions to e-commerce and technology. Next up is the Fidani family. When it comes to construction and real estate in Ontario, the name that
I think
often
somebody
comes
was
to mind
talking
is
about
Fidani.
there.
The
These
Fidani
guys.
family is a powerhouse in Canada's real estate scene, with a legacy that stretches back to 1948. It all began with Carlo Fidani's grandfather, also named Carlo, who founded what was then known as the Orlando Corporation. Over time, the company evolved and expanded under the leadership of Carlo's father, Ore Fidani. After Ore passed away in 2000, Carlo Fidani took the helm as chairman of the Orlando Corporation, now known as Fidani and Sons. Under his guidance, the company has continued to thrive, solidifying its position as a major player in the industry. But Carlo Fidani's impact isn't limited to business alone.
I want to pause this just for a second because you have a really great question here. One more godless woman. Government is a thing. It can do nothing without the hands of the people who work for the government. Is it possible that the they is those public service workers? Absolutely. They are the servants, the underling, the Wehrmacht, per se, of the people that give them the orders and ultimately who pay them. And where does the money come from is who benefits, Sibono. Who are the companies that benefit the most from the corruption and the marriage, the business of corporation and state, this unholy alliance of Geneva policy and our corporations? Those are the things that ultimately fund the they that are the public service workers that are kind of led through this survival process, this psychopathy, right? So great comment there on that. And yeah, these are they're they are the people around us. You know, I used to wonder, how some of these nations committed some of the atrocities that they did, referring to World War II, but I don't wonder anymore because I see so much of it happening right here. Exactly the same programming. When the infrastructure, people depend on the infrastructure, the factories, the buildings, and from one day to the next, they're converted onto what they do. The people's dependence still remains. And this is how we get led into them being the they servants of the day monsters who benefit the most and who makes the most billions and billions off of that. Well, that's where again, this is a bigger part. This is the day that I'm referring to with this video share tonight.
In 2010, he made a significant contribution
because some of them are directly connected to the crimes being waged against us.
To address Ontario's shortage of family physicians by donating $10 million to the University of Toronto's Faculty of Medicine. This generous act inspired further support.
Mini Bill Gates, right here in Canada, eh?
Donation from Terence Donnelly, which enabled the university to establish the Mississauga Academy of Medicine. Since opening its doors to students in August 2011, the Academy has been adding 54 new doctors to Ontario's healthcare system with each graduating class. Continuing his commitment to community health, in 2016, Carlo Fidani and the Orlando Corporation launched a gift matching program, pledging up to $15 million to support the 3 hospital locations of the William Osler Health
Philanthropy
System in the Toronto area.
Today,
the Fidani family's net worth exceeds $4.1 billion, a testament not only to...
So, one of the things that I'm hoping that comes out through watching this video and identifying some of these names and faces, putting the families behind the corporations, the companies, the pharma corps, the companies that are benefiting from the destruction and the enslavement of us. Who is the biggest benefactors on that? The everyday, exactly, philanthropy, my ass. Pfizer being in business, 127 or 172 years has never cured a thing. This industry is not meant to cure things. It's meant to propagate things. It's meant to make us sicker and permanent forever customers of the industry. And who is the top of that food chain of psychopathy and industrialized genocide through lies, deception, propaganda, and now public-private partnership memberships between governments and corporations and all of that? These guys that I'm talking about in this video here. So I'm hoping people start to connect more of the dots. It's not just me that understands this. This is a fluff piece meant to make these guys look so wonderful and fluffy. But when you follow the names and you connect them to some of the stuff that we've been shown, in the darkness against the approval of the state and the establishment, these are the people that they just keep changing their money, changing their rebranding, give them a new name, move it over, continue the demolition process. These are the families that Sibono make the most.
To their business acumen, but also to their ongoing dedication to making a positive impact on their community. If you are still watching this video, it means you find it interesting. Why not take out a second and hit that like button? This encourages us to make
I'll borrow that same timing. If you aren't following me, you should be. If you aren't sharing, you should be.
Meet the family of Darrell Allen Katz, a prominent Canadian businessman and philanthropist. Darrell Katz is the visionary behind the Katz Group of companies, one of the largest privately owned enterprises in Canada, with a diverse portfolio that spans real estate development, sports and entertainment, and pharmacy operations.
Sports and entertainment and pharmacy.
Early, you might know that they are owned by the Katz Group, which also played a...
Pharma, entertainment, So having access to all of it, including the bread and circus. This is the Huckleberry, Rexall Pharmacy. One of the biggest cats, making the most money off keeping us dumbed down, docile, and accepting permanent clienthood within the pharma company. And he is such a hero, bringing the Edmonton Oilers, making them Stanley Cup champions. It's abhorrent. It's abhorrent.
A key role in the development of Rogers Place and the Ice District, transforming the landscape of downtown Edmonton.
Brilliant sports
Before becoming
for me.
a business mogul, Katz was a practicing lawyer, but his ambitions soon led him to create a company that would have a lasting impact on several industries. Katz's contributions extend far beyond business. In October 2006, he announced a $7 million donation to the University of Alberta's Faculty
Ding, ding,
of Law
ding,
and
ding.
Faculty of Pharmacy. This donation, which was matched by the government, became the largest ever made to a pharmacy school in Canada, leading to the naming of the Katz Group Centre for Pharmacy and Health Research in Edmonton. Katz's philanthropic efforts didn't stop there. In 2009, he founded the Darrell
It's
A.
appropriately
Katz Centre for
diabolical.
Urgent and Critical Care and made a generous $20 million donation to Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto.
A little more.
Additionally, he has given millions to Edmonton's Stollery Children's
Of
Hospital
course.
and supported numerous community initiatives. Today,
Putting them all
the
there.
Katz family's wealth is estimated at over $4.4 billion, reflecting not only their business success, but also their deep commitment to giving back to their community and making a difference in people's lives. The Flatt family. Let me introduce you to Bruce Flatt. and
That's
his
one of
family,
those
who are integral to the story
fluff
of Brookfield,
pieces,
one of
parts.
the world's leading alternative asset managers. Bruce Flatt's journey with Brookfield began in 1990, and by 2002,
This
he
is,
had risen to the role of
Canadian-made
CEO.
swamp
His
creatures,
investment approach,
best of the best, the
focused
most
on long-term
successful.
value, has earned him the nickname Canada's Warren Buffett. Born in 1965
There
in
you go.
Canada, Flatt grew up with a keen sense of finance. His father was an executive at a mutual fund company in Manitoba. After completing his education, Flatt started his career as a chartered accountant at Ernst & Young.
Surprise,
It wasn't long
surprise,
before he
surprise.
transitioned to Brookfield, which at that time was known
Bankers
as
and
Brasco,
lawyers,
and
right?
primarily focused on investments. Flatt's leadership skills quickly became apparent. In 2000, he was appointed CEO of Brookfield Properties, where he played a critical role in managing the company's response to the September 11, 2001 attacks, which
Of course he
significantly impacted their assets in Lower Manhattan.
Of course you
Just
did.
2 years later, in 2002, he was named CEO of the entire Brookfield organization. Under Flatt's leadership, Brookfield continued to expand its global footprint. A notable milestone came in 2019 when Brookfield acquired a controlling interest in Oaktree Capital Management, propelling the firm to become the world's second largest alternative asset manager. Flatt's influence within Brookfield is substantial. He leads a consortium of investors who, along with a company called Partners Limited, own about 20% of Brookfield. Today, the Flatt family's net worth is estimated to be over $4.6 billion, reflecting not only Bruce Flatt's financial acumen, but also his impact on the global investment landscape. The Saputo family. In Canada, when you think of cheese, the name Saputo naturally comes to mind. The Saputo family is behind Saputo Incorporated, one of the country's most renowned cheese manufacturers. This is the legacy.
Not all
of
are
Lino
renowned
Saputo,
for,
whose
look at
journey
that
from Sicily
face.
to becoming a major figure in Canadian business is nothing short of remarkable. Lino Saputo was born in 1937 in Montelepre, Sicily, to Giuseppe and Maria Saputo. Giuseppe was a cheesemaker by trade, and it was this family tradition that eventually shaped their future. In the early...
Yeah, this family tradition from 1937 Sicily, we all know where that family tradition and history translated through and into throughout Canada. It's been around a very long time, tradition and history. That's why they don't get caught.
In the 1950s, after Lino completed his secondary education, the Saputo family relocated to Montreal, Quebec, where they would begin to build what would become a cheese empire. When Saputo Incorporated went public in 1997, Lino Saputo
Swamp
took on the
cheese,
role of
Carly.
CEO,
PDS, swamp
steering
cheese.
the company to new heights. In March 2004, his son, Lino Saputo Jr., stepped in as president and CEO, with Lino Saputo continuing as chairman. The transition continued in August 2017, when Lino Saputo Jr. also took over as chairman, though Lino Sr. remains the largest shareholder in the company. Over the years, there have been whispers and allegations about possible mafia connections, most notably brought up by the Radio Canada investigative program Enquête in January 2020. Lino Saputo has consistently denied these claims, stating in his book, Entrepreneur, Living Our Dreams, that his family has always adhered to the law, kept away from criminal organizations, and avoided entanglements with the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
Lino Saputo's name also appeared in the 2017 Paradise Papers due to his sale of shares in an offshore aviation company in Bermuda back in 2010.
Couldn't be anything like Con Air or anything like that, right? No, they'd never be involved in anything like that, right? Totally law abiding.
A spokesperson clarified that this decision was made for commercial reasons rather than for tax avoidance. Beyond the cheese industry, the Saputo family has diversified its investments, holding significant stakes in real estate, forestry products, hotels, golf courses, and the trucking company Transforce.
Of
They've also
course.
contributed to the community, most notably with a $7.5 million donation in July 2006 to develop Saputo Stadium for the Montreal Impact soccer team. Today, the Saputo family's net worth
Brilliant.
is estimated at over $4.7 billion. The Scheinberg family. The Scheinberg family, an incredibly wealthy Israeli-Canadian family, has made a significant mark in the online gaming world. The family's story is closely tied to Mark Scheinberg, who, alongside his father, Isai Scheinberg, a skilled computer programmer, co-founded PokerStars in 2001. Under Mark's leadership as CEO, PokerStars rapidly grew to become the largest online poker platform globally. A key milestone in this journey was the acquisition of Full Tilt Poker in 2012, which solidified PokerStars' dominance in the online poker industry, hosting the world's biggest online tournament series. In August 2014, the Scheinbergs sold PokerStars' parent company, Oldford Group Limited, to Amaya Gaming Group, a publicly traded Canadian company, for a staggering $4.9
Parallels, I don't think, would be just coincidence
Following
there,
the sale,
Cheryl Don.
Mark Scheinberg stepped away from the company, having made a lasting impact on the online gaming industry. By May 2017, Mark Scheinberg was recognized as the wealthiest individual on the Isle of Man.
100%
Around
agree.
the same time, he expanded his business interests by investing in a prestigious real estate project in Madrid, Spain, Centro Canalejas, Madrid, through his firm, Mohari Hospitality. Today, the Scheinberg family's net worth exceeds $5.3 billion, reflecting their substantial success and
a lot of cheese
across different industries. The Wilson family. Meet the family of Dennis Wilson, the entrepreneur who built a fashion empire by founding several retail clothing brands.
Didn't we hear about these guys?
Lehman Athletica Incorporated.
Told ya.
This company, known for its sportswear with a yoga-inspired flair, is often credited with popularizing the athleisure trend. In 2016, Wilson created Hold It All Incorporated, a holding company designed to merge his personal and professional ventures.
Another Canadian swamp creature.
Before that, Wilson had already made significant moves in the business world. He was the CEO of Lululemon until 2005, when he sold a 48% stake in the company to private equity firms Advent International and Highland Capital Partners. This sale
Imagine that,
setting the stage for Lululemon's future growth. In 2007, Lululemon went public, launching an initial public offering, IPO, on both Canadian and US stock exchanges. While Wilson stepped down from his executive role as Chief Innovation and Branding Officer in January 2012, he remained involved with the company as chairman of the board. He eventually stepped down from his role as non-executive chairman in December 2013, but his influence on the brand and its direction remains.
It's a lot of money
Today,
through
the
these
Wilson
guys.
family boasts a net worth of over $5.6 billion, a testament to Dennis Wilson's business acumen and the enduring success of Lululemon. The Bouchard family. Let me tell you about the family of Alain Bouchard.
So much success that they can manipulate the government and hire slave labor, and the government bows to them. That kind of reminds me of that we all saw that picture of Rockefeller poking the king's chest, saying, "You'll do what I tell you." That's basically what that clown there is does to the government and rules and law. More of the human trafficking, right? You don't infringe on my profit margin, Mr. Trudeau, with your silly little rules and laws against foreign slave labor. Shut up and mind your own business. We'll tell you what you want, Trudeau. Here's another one.
A name that's synonymous with entrepreneurial success in Quebec. Alain Bouchard is the co-founder and chairman of Alimentation Couche-Tard, a global leader in convenience stores, and also serves on the board of directors for Atrium Innovations, both based in Quebec. Bouchard's journey to success was shaped early on by a significant challenge. His father, Jean-Paul Bouchard, faced bankruptcy when Alain was just a young boy. Born in Chicoutimi, Quebec, Alain's father had a business building roads in the province. When the business failed, the Bouchard family was forced to move to a mobile home in the small village of Mikoua. This experience left a lasting impression on Alain and fueled his drive for success. Before founding Alimentation
Great
Couche-Tard
comments,
in
guys.
1980, Bouchard worked as an independent shopkeeper, gaining valuable experience that would later serve him well. Under his leadership, Couche-Tard grew from a single convenience store to a sprawling network of over 12,500 locations worldwide. Bouchard served as the company's CEO from 1980 until 2014, guiding it through decades of expansion and success. Today, the Bouchard family's net worth is estimated at over $5.8 billion, a testament to Alain's vision and perseverance in building a business empire from humble beginnings. The Tsai family. The Tsai family is a highly influential Hong Kong Canadian family.
They're going to
led
get
by
me in
Joseph
trouble
Tsai.
here.
Joseph Tsai is well known as a co-founder and executive vice chairman of Alibaba Group, one of the largest multinational technology companies in the world. Beyond his business achievements, he has also made a significant mark in the sports world, owning the Brooklyn Nets of the NBA, the New York Liberty of the WNBA,
Of course,
and
they
the San
all
Diego
own sport
Seals
teams.
of the National Lacrosse League.
Not
among
bad
other
for a Canadian,
investments in
though, hey?
professional sports. Tsai, who holds Hong Kong citizenship, has also shown a strong commitment to education and philanthropy. In March 2016, he made a $30 million donation to his alma mater, Yale Law School, in honor of his father. This donation led to the establishment of the Paul Tsai China Center, named after his father, which focuses on the study of China and US-China
You
relations.
don't say.
Continuing his philanthropic efforts, Tsai and his wife, through the Joe and Clara Tsai Foundation, made another significant contribution to Yale in May 2017. This donation supported the creation of the Tsai Center for Innovative Thinking, which aims to inspire students from
That's
diverse
why I wanted to do this,
develop
Esky
creative
Dogs.
solutions to real-world problems. With a net worth of over $8.5 billion, the Tsai family was not only
$8.5
successful in
billion.
business, but also deeply invested in making a positive impact through education and innovation. The Irving family. Let's dive into the story of the Irving family, one of Canada's
Right,
most
Leonard?
influential business dynasties.
Exactly.
At the heart of this story is Arthur Lee Irving, a key figure in Canadian business. Born in 1930 in St. John, New Brunswick, Arthur is the second son of the renowned businessman K.C. Irving. Following the passing of their father in 1992, the Irving family divided the sprawling empire among the siblings. Arthur took the reins of Irving Oil, overseeing a vast network that includes retail outlets, oil refineries, tankers, distribution terminals, and other facilities. His role ensures that Irving Oil remains a powerhouse in the energy sector. Meanwhile, his brother J.K. Irving,
PDS, exactly why I partner with Patriot Switch, because we take those MFers on head on. Procter & Gamble has been an evil company for so long.
heads
Sorry,
up
you
J.D.
triggered me
Irving,
with that one.
a
Thanks for
diverse
getting it,
conglomerate
dude.
with interests spanning shipbuilding, forestry, pulp and paper, tissue production, building materials, frozen foods, and transportation. Each of these sectors benefits from J.D. Irving's extensive network and resources. The
100%.
third sibling, Jack Irving, manages a separate portfolio that focuses on steel fabrication, engineering, and construction.
Yes.
The
Yes.
Irving family's approach to
They're
business
killing
is
you.
notably integrated. Their various companies frequently source products and services from other Irving-owned enterprises to maintain efficiency and profitability. With a combined net worth exceeding $8.4 billion, the Irving family's business empire is a testament to their successful strategy and enduring legacy in the Canadian industry. The Mandel family. When it comes to notable names in the beverage world, the Mandel family stands out just like Budweiser and Heineken. Anthony von Mandel, the driving force behind this
This
fancy
is going to
success,
surprise you.
made a big splash in the industry when he introduced Corona beer to Canada
Ding, ding, ding.
in 1986. But that was just the beginning. In the 1990s, Mandel revolutionized the drink scene with the creation of Mike's Hard Lemonade. His innovative drink quickly became a hit, causing such a stir at Ontario liquor stores that it led to some serious scuffles when supplies ran low. The buzz didn't stop there. Mandel took Mike's Hard Lemonade to the US in 1999, and by 2015, Labatt Breweries had bought the Canadian rights to the brand. Then came White Claw Hard Seltzer, which Mandel launched as another refreshing alternative to traditional beer. This new entrant took the US by storm, with Bloomberg noting that it outsold not only craft beers, but also iconic brands like Budweiser for extended periods in 2019. With a net worth exceeding $9.6 billion, the Mandel family has firmly established itself as a powerhouse in the beverage industry, continually shaping the market with innovative products. The Cheriton family. Let me introduce you to the Cheriton family, known for their impressive contributions to the tech world. At the heart of this family's achievements is David Cheriton, a leading expert in distributed computing and computer networking. David has a keen eye for spotting emerging market opportunities.
Great question here from Cheryl. Where's the Bronfman family? You know what? This is why I wanted to do this, because the Bronfmans don't even come close to these people when it comes to the financial Richter scale. But they got caught. They got busted doing, sick pedo shit and a whole bunch more. And so, yeah, they are filthy rich, but they are easy sacrificial lambs for the rest of us to collectively go after. That leaves these clowns out of our attention. This is, how they avoid us, right? So the Bronfman family didn't even make the list today.
Opportunities and designing the tech infrastructure to capitalize on them. David's entrepreneurial spirit shines through his involvement in several high-profile
diversifying
ventures. He co-founded Arista Networks and played a pivotal role as one of the first angel investors in Google, where he also served as chief scientist. His early backing of VMware also highlighted his knack for identifying promising tech startups. In total, David has invested in around 20 different businesses, showcasing his broad impact across the tech landscape. As of April 2021, Forbes valued David Cheriton's net worth at an impressive $8.8 billion. His generosity is equally notable. He has donated significantly to education, including a $25 million gift to the University of Waterloo School of Computer Science to enhance graduate studies and research, a $7.5 million contribution to the University of British Columbia, and a $12 million endowment to Stanford University in 2016. This endowment supports faculty, graduate fellowships, and undergraduate scholarships.
The Marxist Industrial Manufacturing Clone Trooper Center.
With the Cheriton family's net worth now surpassing $10.3 billion.
$10.3 billion. So we're moving up the list here a little bit, but I wanted to bring up this point here from Leonard Kingsley. I'll bet they all embrace BlackRock's ESG. If they want to do business with anybody that Mark Carney approves of, you're damn skippy they embrace ESG. And this is where this video, guys, is only introducing you to the cover stories, the fluff pieces for these rich billionaires. And they're, some of them that we've covered, we're getting to kind of a little bit further up the pile here of their worth, their net worth, and some of them are going to be even more familiar coming down the pipe here. But yeah, these are, if you haven't noticed yet, when I do show that loop or that ring on my platform of all of the different companies that, the swamp profits from, and every time we go into the store, we give them our money. These are the guys at the top of the money pile.
Has already been cemented in the history of Canada. The Patterson family. Let me introduce you to the Patterson family, one of the powerhouses of Canadian wealth and business. At the center of this influential family is Jim Patterson, based in Vancouver, British Columbia. He stands as the CEO, chairman, and sole owner of the Jim Patterson Group, which holds the title of Canada's second largest privately owned company. With a global workforce of over 45,000 and annual revenues hitting $10.1 billion, the Patterson Group is a major player across various sectors, including food, packaging, and forestry products. Jim Patterson's financial prowess has been well recognized over the years. In 2015, he was ranked as the fourth richest person in Canada. And by late 2018, Forbes pegged his net worth at $5.7 billion, a significant increase from the $2.1 billion reported in March 2009. Bloomberg News even ranked him as the third wealthiest Canadian at the time. Patterson's contributions to Canada have not gone unnoticed. He received the Governor-General's Commemorative Medal for Canada's 100th and 125th anniversaries, was named to the Order of
You made me
Canada
laugh,
and
Leonard.
the Order of British Columbia, and was inducted into the Canadian Walk of Fame.
Oh, he looks like a ghoul.
The Patterson family's fortune now exceeding $12.1 billion. Their
$12.1
influence in both the business world and Canadian society is truly remarkable. Next up is the Zhao family. Meet the Zhao family, who are considered royalty in the world of cryptocurrency, thanks to Changpeng Zhao, commonly known as CZ. CZ is the visionary founder and CEO of Binance, the largest cryptocurrency exchange globally by trading volume as of July 2022. Born in Jiangsu, China, Zhao's family moved to Canada when he was young, and he currently operates out of Singapore. Before launching Binance, CZ made his mark on the crypto scene as part of the blockchain.info development team and as chief
Absolutely, Smithers. Oh my goodness,
Binance made its debut in
perfect
July
analogy.
2017
Wow.
with an initial coin offering that raised $15 million. In just under 8 months, Zhao turned Binance into the world's largest crypto exchange by trading volume. That same year, he introduced Binance Coin, a utility token designed to offer users perks like reduced trading fees. In April 2019, Binance expanded its influence further by launching Binance Smart Chain, a smart contract platform aimed at competing with Ethereum. With a staggering net worth of over $17.4 billion, the Zhao family's impact on the cryptocurrency world is both profound and impressive. The Thompson family.
Bing, bing,
Let's
bing,
dive into
bing,
the world
bing,
of the
bing.
Thompson family, wealthiest clan in Canada, renowned.
So I know a lot of people are going to be looking for this video. It's called The Richest Family in Canada. I'll make sure the link is in the Substack tomorrow for sure for everybody. It's definitely one to bookmark, and that was what I was hoping for. People would start connecting some of these families to some of the crime sprees. And I know that some of these people are going to be a little bit surprising to others, but this guy, this Thompson family dude, just like some of the other ones, they didn't tell you in here, this guy owns the Winnipeg Jets. So another ultra, rich, but where he gets our special attention is his ownership of European Writers Association or European Writers Union, and basically he's the king of media, and this is the guy that we did a whole deep dive on him where BlackRock for 10 years is paying him $9.7 billion. $9.7 billion to provide the news for Bloomberg, right? So this is, again, one of the biggest swamp creatures in Canada, providing the propaganda beast machine with the everything, right? So, and another Canadian-made oligarch, and I'm kind of disappointed at all of these so-called American super journalists that can't put it together about the swamp creatures here in Canada. It's like willful ignorance to a lot of them. Why don't Americans know how much of these swamp creatures use Canada as their freaking playground? We're cottage country for the worst of the swamp zombies out there. I think that I should I should make a superhero graphic, swamp zombie fighter, right? But yeah, this is a special one.
Known for their significant impact on both finance and art. At the helm of this influential family is David Thompson, the third Baron of the Thompson fleet. He stepped into his father, Kenneth Roy Thompson's shoes as Baron and Chairman of Thompson Corporation after Kenneth's passing in 2006. Following the acquisition of Reuters in 2008, David took on the role of chairman at the newly formed Thomson Reuters. David Thompson's passion for art is as impressive as his business achievements. His collection includes works by legendary artists like
And
John
all of their
W.
corporations
Turner,
would be
Paul Klee,
funding the
and
NGOs,
Edvard Munch,
nonprofits,
he
and lobby
boasts the
groups,
largest private collection of John Constable paintings.
and buying the politicians. That's the
In a
point of the,
1994
all of these
interview
people.
with
They buy their
Geraldine Norman
politicians. You
for
want to
The
know who
Independent,
owns the
Thompson revealed his
sponsorships,
fascination
labels
with
that your
Constable
politicians
started
should be
when he was
wearing?
just 19,
These are the biggest
exchanging an oil
families of
painting
all.
and some cash for his first Constable drawing. The Thompson collection at the Art Gallery of Ontario highlights their art connoisseurship, including Rubens' Massacre of the Innocents, which David and his father bought for a record-breaking $76.7 million in 2002. In 2012, Thompson set new records by purchasing Wilhelm Hammershøi's Ida Reading a Letter for the highest price ever paid for a Danish artist, and a John Robert Cosen's landscape for $2.4 million, marking the most expensive 18th century British watercolor. The Thompson family's generosity extends beyond their art collection. They have contributed over $276 million to the renovation of the Art Gallery of Ontario and pledged $20 million to create a permanent endowment. With a net worth surpassing $51.7 billion, the Thompson family's influence and legacy are both vast and enduring. If you found this video interesting, be sure to hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.
So this is on a channel called The Billionaire Chronicles, guys. And this particular video is this is the richest family in Canada. And I thought that this was, kind of exactly how it comes down here at the end in explaining this. People, say that politicians should wear their sponsor labels on their suit jackets, right? Well, these guys aren't just singular sponsors. Each one of these people and families that you got introduced to here today probably would have sponsorships on all of the teams' jackets, right? This isn't just a single sponsorship per politician types that you all got introduced to here tonight. These are the guys that own the game, rig the game, and designate the politicians and fund the lobbyists, the philanthropy, that gifting to society. We're making society so much better after they've stripped society of all meaning, turning us into Borgs, desperate for death. That's the technocrat billionaires that are stealing our money. Yeah, this is that was a good sampling of them tonight. Thanks for showing up, 777 Mitch. If you're not following, you damn sure should be. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it this weekend. There'll be another one tomorrow. Billy Ray, good to see you, if that's who I think it is. Awesome stuff. So yeah. A great point. Art is the biggest laundering scheme going. I wonder if he's had any Hunter Bidens go through his galleries, or the ones that he funds and supports. But that's a wrap for tonight, guys. We went a little longer than I thought we would, but we covered a lot of really great territory. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you have an email for me, that's the best place to do it. contact@whatsupcanada.org. Tomorrow night, Bankers Bandit, Bullions and Bucks with Bryce. Gonna be some great stuff there again too. I'm not sure I'm going to be attending. I'm going to be attending a press conference tomorrow for the World Council for Health Canada division, where there is a massive grassroots push coming to fight back against Bill C-293 and some others. So busy week ahead. More stuff coming and going all the time. As I always say, it's the guys fighting for the truth, uncovering it, that are the tip of the spear of this great resistance. It's the reason, the work that the independent journalists do, the ones that you can trust. I encourage everybody to support those journalists and independent media platforms. Buying me a coffee, if you find value in what I do here, is a great way to do that. Buymeacoffee.com, What's Up Canada. There is also links for that on my Substack, where you can get everything for free, but also choose a 50 cent a day subscription. And if you want to make sure that I get every penny of what you send, this is the best way to do that. Donate at whatsupcanada.org. This is how we stay free for everybody and continue to grow this community. This isn't a platform that is part of an agency. There is no other funding. This is a community-driven symbiotic relationship. We all do this together, because if we don't, we're going to end up in the same hell together. So yeah, really great stuff. Thank you guys for being here once again. And like I said, if you're not following, you should be. And to close off with my tomorrow's show with Bryce is representative, when people were asking me for so many times, that used to be the number one question, where do I get gold and silver? What do I do with my financing, my banking, da 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 da. So I offered this show to New World Precious Metals. I said, every Friday, let's get together and let's talk about, whatever people, aren't, getting to talk about. So let's talk about that and let people know where they can go to get their, solve their problems. And there's been so many people, often I get messages, people sending me saying, thank you for this. They were able to get out of the banking system into stuff that they could actually work with and protect themselves from the banking bail-ins. So that's what tomorrow's show is all about. So these are reasons why I have the partners that I do. I don't have promoters and sponsors. And the other one that I have, with Patriot Switch, the manufacturer there, it's the same reason. These guys don't just talk the talk. They create solutions, and they fight what it seeks to destroy us as a society. And to me, this is one of those things that it kind of tells me where people, where they sit. Are they really interested in doing something and being part of something that works differently or not? It's kind of one of those things, and it's not a requirement, but it tells me how committed people are to, accepting a little bit of change or looking at something different or being open to something different if it makes an impact against those companies like Procter and Gamble and all of these ones that these meat muppets profit from us on. So that is what this closeout video is for, guys. I love you all. Stay mighty, stay strong, my fellow friends, patriots, soldiers, prisoners, and hostages, wherever you're tuning in from. We're going to have some special international announcements coming up next week too. So working hard for you here. Love y'all. See you tomorrow.